Jeff, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, we are talking about St. Louis in the news recently. A big Wall Street Journal article came out about the real estate nightmare in St. Louis, making the case that downtown St. Louis is trapped in a doom loop where the offices have emptied out and then the shops, the restaurants closed, buildings became abandoned. Nobody wants to be there. We're basically bad development spurred more bad developments, and that central business district has had the steepest drop of foot traffic now of 66 major North American cities between the start of the pandemic and last summer. So it's down the most of pretty much any city on record in this kind of like doom loop event. Now, there's some caveats here, and they're kind of important caveats. One is that just a short walk away, you go to the downtown West neighborhood, and that's got loft apartments, a soccer stadium, a new train station turned amusement park, and that neighborhood's doing really well. And then you've also got to the south a cluster of bars and restaurants around the Cardinals ballpark that's often really crowded, and that neighborhood's doing really well. So, within the context of this story about St. Louis being in a doom loop and a real estate nightmare, you got neighborhoods that are actually doing pretty well, but there's definitely a problem in that kind of downtown office district. Your thoughts on what the Wall Street Journal is calling the real estate nightmare of St. Louis?
I mean, look, it sounds very similar to, like a Detroit-esque problem, except it's not related to cars. But from the side of mixed use properties, it does make some sense. You're living and working in areas, maybe you're even partially working from home, but you want you want to walk down the street and to the bodega to get a sandwich and some small groceries and stuff and live your life, and you go down to the bars that are right around you. Do you go to a game? I get some of that side, whereas compared to living in the central business or living close or outside the business central business district, traveling down there and maneuvering around is a lot of work.
Yeah, this is a theme we've talked about in terms of where we're targeting investments is really more towards that kind of mixed use. That can be shopping malls that have a hotel in it. They have entertainment in it as well as they
Yeah.
have high-end retail in it versus the traditional malls that are really kind of more dying. Yeah, I think this is just, you're absolutely right. This is another data point on that the trend is really towards kind of mixed use in terms of living, being able to fully live. And if you've got a district that's just work, just offices, you probably got a problem. And if you got an area that really mixes all those different things together, those areas are doing well. And that's really, as an investor, probably where
Yeah.
you should be more focused. And if you're a city, including St. Louis, and you've got a portion that doesn't have that, you better figure out a way to make it happen because we're not going back.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's probably going to be one of those things. If St. Louis is going to make a comeback, it's probably going to be from the outside in, not from the inside out. Kind of working your way back towards the middle and getting creative with what the real estate looks like in and around and creating the amenities so people want to come back.
Yeah, and I think this is really important for people to understand because there's been a lot of clickbait sort of stuff, headlines just designed to get interest, proclaiming, the death of the down doom loops, certain cities just being written off. And even this article from the journal, certainly the focus was on the nightmare aspect in St. Louis. But as investors, the trend you should really pay attention to is this drive towards more mixed use, is this drive to having different types of properties all mixed together so people can live and work and play. And if you're looking for investments, that's really the trend you want to be gearing yourself more towards. And I think that's the important piece of information here that's often overlooked as editors and writers try to kind of do a nightmare story, which
Well,
is what it's been kind of called.
it's kind of interesting. This kind of reminds me of, or is reminiscent of probably late 70s, 80s Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. Had big rise in or big increases in inflation and caused higher job loss, but the city kind of surrounded themselves, or actually probably I would say probably blanketed themselves with their local sports, football, baseball, et cetera, and kind of huddled around that and allowed themselves to kind of take some I don't know, reprieve from the economy. And maybe that's what kind of happens here in St. Louis. Maybe it just kind of bounces way back, and has a downturn, then kind of comes back. Who knows? But it sounds, the article makes it sound more like Detroit than Pennsylvania or than Philadelphia.
Yeah, and I would be leery about investing or putting money in some of these business districts that are just all office product for the most part that isn't occupied. I think that is a problem, and for some of these cities, it's not going to necessarily be an easy solution, how you transform that. But I think it's also pretty clear what the winner is here, and it's more that mixed use, more that lifestyle. Uh, that we're seeing those are the type of properties that are doing well, and those are certainly the ones we're more comfortable directing investment dollars towards. Hey,
Absolutely.
appreciate your insights. If people enjoyed this, give us a click thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, and hop on our website, selectfincap.com, and subscribe to our newsletter so we can let you know about investments that are coming up with us. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Thanks, Steve.